Hi, Adam.
Hey Hannah, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good, good,
Good.
good.
Good. Thank you so much for being our next guest on 15 Minutes With. It'd be lovely to find out more about Officeology and share with our audience and members much more about what you guys do there, because I know there's quite a range of services. So really excited to hear more about it. So Adam Butler is the director of Officeology, and we're going to do the 15 minutes now and find out more about the services that you offer and how you work with your clients and office managers as well. So first of all, tell us a little bit more about Officeology and what it is you guys do there and how it started.
Yeah, okay. So we started about 10 years ago. We initially started off as a franking machine, a franchise of a franking machine manufacturer, because that's sort of my history, if you like. I was selling franking machines, kept saying to our bosses that we should diversify, sell other products because you build relationships with receptionists, office managers, that type of thing, which is obviously key. It's all about the relationship, right? And they wasn't really happy with that because obviously they're a manufacturer of franking machines. So over time, it's sort of I kept annoying them and saying, look, we postage is decreasing. We need to look at diversifying. And eventually, they came around to my way of thinking. And most of the franchises for the manufacturer we work for have slowly, over the last sort of 5 to 8 years, have all started to rebrand and have their own sort of names, if you like. So so it was about pandemic time that Officeology was born, revamped the website, and started to sort of contact some other companies, manufacturers of office equipment. But also, we started to get contacted by companies wanting us to sell their products. So it was it was all about timing, really. It just came together quite nicely, and it's just built from there. So obviously, franking machines, folder inserters, general mailroom equipment is where it started, and then it's now evolved into printers, photocopiers, coffee machines, office furniture and fit outs. We just did like a £500,000 fit out in Golden Square, which was really cool because that's right near us. And it's gone from there. Most of our customers are in the West End because obviously, as we started as a franchise, that was our territory. So we're quite fortunate in the fact that most of our clients are pretty interesting. We're quite fortunate for that, and pretty big names in effect. Like you probably know them all.
Sorry to interrupt. Interesting how in terms of the different sort of sectors they work in, or the money that some of them have because you're in the West End, or what do you mean by interesting?
A whole range of things. Yeah, there could be a lot of foreign companies, so there's quite a lot of hurdles to overcome in terms of like if they're going to lease the equipment, which most people generally do. But if they're outside of the UK, there's quite some interesting challenges. But some of these companies are mega, so you're trying to explain to the banks that these guys have got lots of money. It's not a problem. There's also just generally really cool companies that you will know really well about, and you wouldn't think that they would necessarily need a franking machine potentially. But as I say, if you've got an office and a head count, then 9 times out of 10 you have got a need for something that we provide.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, fab. And so I like to ask all of our guests how we met. Can you remember how we met initially?
Yeah, I think you've canvassed me on LinkedIn, battered me for a few messages, and I was ignoring you. I was saying, "Who's this Hannah Gray?" But yeah, no, I think you messaged me.
I didn't ignore me.
No, I didn't ignore you. It's a lie. I checked out your bio and stuff, and I thought, oh, I like that idea. It sounds really, really cool. Because as I say, most of our relationship building has been with office managers in the past. As it's gone along and evolved into printers, photocopiers, and digitalization and document management, it has sort of moved across into IT managers and stuff. But generally, on the whole, franking, coffee machines, the start of the process normally is with an office manager, to be honest, because they get given that sort of task. So to go and research a few companies and start the process. So it just really made sense. I really liked the idea and what you were doing.
Yeah, I remember because I think I'd seen you on Instagram as well, because there's a lot of, and we haven't touched on this yet, but there's a whole piece around wellness, right, that Officeology does. And I think that's why I approached you, because it was quite a different, you know, we have other partners obviously that offer the same or similar services to what you do, but I obviously really liked that element of your company and how much you were focusing on the culture, the wellness, some of the tips I think that you were sharing on Instagram at the time when I'd just started following you. I really liked that. So yeah, I think I approached you, and you know, to see if you'd partner with us as a you know, a multi-service offering, but also as a partner that's coming at it from quite a different avenue to others. So yeah,
that was sort of born from I think July 2020. I got invited by Richie, my who's obviously on the site, who's big into wellness, and he invited me onto a motorbike trip with one of his friends, Joe Wicks, and he said, look, I've got this spot, someone can't make it, and Joe's asked me, does he know anyone that rides motorbikes that's
the Joe Wicks?
Yeah. And
cool.
So he said, does he know, do you know anyone that rides motorbikes that's not an idiot, like not going to like let us down? He's going to be an absolute wicked guy to slot into this 12-man team. And Richie said, I've got just the man. And he said, we're going to be doing 200 miles a day, 5 days through the Highlands. And I spoke to my wife. I said, any chance I can go away for 5 days on a motorbike holiday? She's going, are you serious right now? Like, when you going? Like I said, in 2 days. Oh my God, Adam, like what? You can't just drop me in. I go, I'm going with Joe Wicks. She's like, do you know what? That's the only way you're going to get the ticket. So I went and spent the most incredible, it's like probably one of the best trips I've, you know, it's up there in my top 5 trips ever. But I remember landing and Richie was saying to me, he goes, how's Frankie Machines going? I go, well, actually, we've rebranded to Officeology, trying to improve office life, because most people spend most of their time in the office. And he was like, God, you could do like wellness stuff, you know, like to help people, you know, keep people motivated mentally. You could even potentially do Officeology like wellness retreats for like, so because if everyone's working from home, they get to meet all their colleagues on like a 2-day spa retreat or something. And we literally landed in Heathrow after a week of being away together, and we just went ding. Wow, we need to talk about this more. And then that's how it all started, really.
Yeah, no, I really like
Born
it.
from the pandemic. So the rebrand, the wellness aspect, all came from the pandemic. So, you know, it's some positive stuff to come from it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think everybody had to get a bit creative, didn't they? And the mental health piece, and as you say, almost like the psychology around, and the sociology as well around the office environment and everything, is really, you know, has been very much highlighted and brought to the forefront in the pandemic. So tell us how you work with office managers. What sort of things do you do, and what do you enjoy about it?
I think just generally building relationships. With our job, it's, you know, 95% of the work we do is building relationships with people, because let's face it, you know, you can buy any of our products from anyone really. It's just about, are you going to get a good service? Are you going to have a great relationship with that person? And, you know, if you need something or something goes wrong, which, you know, that's when it counts, isn't it? You know, no one cares about the photocopier, in all due respect. But if it doesn't work, people are jumping up and down, when is it going to get fixed? So
and the same with coffee machines. The coffee machine,
exactly.
It's murder, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. And especially the coffee machines, especially because it's quite an emotional connection, that one, because, you know, people need their coffee to survive, to work, to function, potentially, they think, you know. So it's, whereas, you know, maybe a photocopier not used as much these days in terms of printing, but if someone needs to scan something to then put it off to someone to get signed off, if that's not working, it's sort of like all hell breaks loose. But yeah, as I say, it's the relationships at the end of the day. I think anyone can get anything. It's just and I think like people like the fact that we try to incorporate like a one-stop shop in effect, and it's good for them. It's good that they've got more than one product with us, because they feel that they've got, you know, a great strong relationship, and also it keeps us on our toes, because we wouldn't want to let them down in any aspect, because that might mean that we might, you know, be put up for tender in one of the other products that we look after. So I think it works both ways for both parties.
Yeah. Okay, good. And what do you personally enjoy the most about your job and working, or owning and working within Officeology?
I think probably the freedom that it gives me, but just employing people and seeing them grow, and like being a part of, you know, supporting supporting them, and like having a bit of that was always a bit of a bit of an achievement for me. It was when I was selling, it was fine. You just get, you get your commission, you go home, but it was getting a bit, I don't know, a bit lost
like
on me.
and just soulless.
And as I say, when you bring on people and you see them flourish, and that you see you're part of that, it's a really nice sense of achievement, a nice warm fuzzy feeling, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, good. And sort of to wrap up, what would be your top tip or tips on some of the areas that you are expert in? So we've spoken about MFDs, we've spoken about so multifunction device printers, we've spoken about franking machines and folders and inserters. Anything that you're aware of at the moment that are good tips or trends that you're seeing and requests from your clients?
Well, I think in terms of like the telecoms piece as well, that's obviously going to be massive as the BT switch off comes off in 2025. And they're saying that, or BT is saying that at least 70% of businesses are still on the old style phone system. Now, whether that's because people don't know what's happening or people are leaving it to the last minute, but what I would say is I wouldn't leave it to the last minute, because I can see price hikes and having people over a barrel, which is obviously not where you want to be. In terms of delivery times on coffee machines and franking machines, they don't seem to have been too affected. But in terms of the photocopiers and the chips that they're all trying to grab hold of, we used to be able to deliver a photocopier within 5 to 7 working days, but we're getting quoted up to sort of 10, 12 weeks at times at the moment. And it has been like that the whole time. So I would say anyone that's got a contract coming up for renewal in the next year, 18 months, I'd start doing it now, just so you don't get affected. Like, we've had orders drop out because it's been too long, but we've still accepted delivery of the machine to our own offices, because we know that it's going to get snapped up when someone else needs one, so but as I say, that they're probably the main points.
And that's like cars, isn't it? Because I'm waiting on a car at the moment, and there's a chip thing there, so similar to the MFDs. I didn't realise that was the delay. So just going back to your first point, is it ISDN or IST? Is that what it's called? So
ISDN lines, the old copper lines. The old copper lines. They're trying to remove all of that and bring everyone onto the cloud, as it were. So that's going to be key, because obviously so many old systems. To give you an idea, it really hurt a lot of companies in the pandemic, because if you had an old style phone system, which was they call it on-prem, that would have been in a server room, lots of wires, lots of buzzing around. But as soon as you went all remote, you couldn't make calls into that mainline number switchboard and then get transferred. You were getting told, all right, I've got to speak to Hana. Can you take Hannah's mobile number down? And we had one customer, I think they spent 80 grand on a phone system 2 years prior to the pandemic, and they couldn't use it. Whereas, if you come with us based on a per user, you're talking £20 a month rolling subscription, and you've got call recording, you've got call transferring. You could be in a lounge in Dubai using the app, and it would come up 0208, 0203 as if you're in your office in London. So it's definitely,
and that's
it's
voice,
so much cheaper. It's so much cheaper, so much more flexible. There's so many more options around it. But these old style phone systems, and now obviously you don't need the space now of that big old phone system in your server room. You can remove all of that. So there's no downside to it really at all. It's just, obviously, it's like anything, isn't it? When you swap your old mobile phone number over or anything like that, it's like a wrench, isn't it? Because you're like, oh God, I just don't really want to deal with it. But it's not as bad as what you may think, especially from a business point of view.
Sure. And it's coming, right? The switch. So the old telephony lines, the ISDNs, won't be available. So if you're on an ISDN contract, then the tip here is get in touch with Adam basically to chat about VoIP, because you're going to get turned off in a couple of years or so. So and as you say, the prices may go up. So it's a really good tip.
And if you don't switch it off in time, they're going to hike the prices up, so it's going to be absolutely astronomical. So it will just be an absolute no-brainer not to switch over to VoIP and a cloud-based solution.
Makes sense. Super. Well, thank you so much for doing 15 minutes with me. I've really enjoyed getting to learn more about Officeology and your background and your trip with Joe Wicks as well. I didn't know about that one. So
no worries. No, it's good to catch up. I think this is my first ever 15 minutes. So
There you go. Thank you so much, Adam.
No worries.
See you soon.